Hi y'all, today we're going to be talking about the AMR-9, the final gun you unlock through natural progression, and a very comfortable to use submachine gun. It's rather middle of the road when it comes to damage output, but it's very easy to use, and it's got a lot of funny attachment options available for it, including a conversion kit that I've yet to play with, and it's a neat gun. I quite like it for what it is. It's solid, it'll work fine for camo challenges, it's pretty alright. It's definitely a more forgettable submachine gun, but you know what, it's pretty alright for what it is. So, we're going to go everything. We're going to go attachment setup. We're going to go loadout recommendations, how to do your camo challenges, and then we're going to jump right into a live match through quick play, and we'll see how it goes. So, on the stock, I like running the heavy carbine stock. You don't take a significant handling penalty, and the recoil advantage is nice. Like, you literally take less than a 2% ADS speed penalty. A lot of the stocks here are actually totally fine, valid picks, whether you just want a little bit more recoil, a little bit more ADS. Everything here is fine. Surprisingly, the buffer tube is great. It gives you a significant handling advantage, and despite the recoil penalty, it's really not noticeable. The only thing I would note if you want to run the buffer tube is definitely run an optic alongside. The iron sights get really bouncy if you don't, and for that reason, just make sure you pair it with an optic. I like the Mini Pro. Pick whatever suits your boat. In the barrel, I like the Commando Pro. It gives you a nice balance of mobility with only a minor handling penalty. It's nice. Again, all the barrels here are pretty much fine, whether you just want more range or anything. The only thing I'd stay away from is the micro integral suppressor, because you lose 10% damage range, and that is very noticeable on the AMR. It really falls off quick in terms of damage output, and when it does, oh boy, will you feel it. It feels like a pea shooter at longer ranges. I really like the Phantom 5 hand stop. It just gives you more handling and a bit of recoil. It's not, like, huge. You could run a lot of other things instead. But I like the Phantom 5 for what it is. The 20-round mag is basically free. You start with 30 rounds normally. Losing 10 rounds doesn't really matter that much, and you do gain noticeable movement advantages running the 20-round mag, most notably a 17% better sprint to fire. So, I really like it for what it is. Otherwise, you can stick with the stock mag and pick something else up. If you're going to go for a laser, I recommend the aim-down sight laser. Other than that, you build accordingly for your camo challenges. Speaking of, get 50 kills with the AMR-9. This one should be pretty easy. I'd hope you get this one. 25 hipfire kills with the AMR-9. My advantage would be to play shipment, because even with a full hipfire build, this gun is just not that good in it. I would just probably play shipment and go a little silly for a little bit. You could build for hipfire, but it's still going to be a little bit rough because it's kind of difficult. 10 kills while crouching or sliding, that's pretty simple. And 15 kills on operators affected by your tactical. I use stun grenades for this one, I'll explain that a bit more in the loadout. Get 10 kills without the enemy damaging you, should come pretty naturally. 10 kills shortly after ADS, should come pretty naturally. 10 kills while being out of line of sight with the MR, it should come pretty naturally. It's a pretty simple gun, challenge-wise. So, for the rest of your loadout, pick whatever handgun you like. As I mentioned, I find stun grenades the most reliable for the tactical camo challenges. I run engineer vests, so you get 2 of them. And the rest of the junk is just whatever you like. It largely comes down to personal preference. I'm not going to judge you for what you run. It is your game. You can build your loadout how you do. So, like I said, we're going to jump into a live game. Hopefully it's not a shipment game that's about to end, because that's how this recording just ended. So we'll hope for something alright. And I'm an average player, playing an average game, at best. So, this is kind of what you can expect if you're an okay player in an average match. Assuming we even manage to get one, because ping-first matchmaking is kind of lame. Alas, it is what it is. Okay, we get a game. It's Underpass, Hardpoint. Okay, that's going to be an interesting map for the AMR. It's a relatively easy gun, though. I found it out of the submachine guns I've used in both 2 and 3. I found it to be one of the most forgettable, unfortunately, but it's easy. It's a really easy gun to get your camos done for. I think other guns are stronger. I think the Striker is better. I think the Rival 9 is better. And I think the Striker 9, a lot of people really hate it, but for some reason I really like this thing. I've been able to make it work really well. Of course, I would use it over any of the Modern Warfare 2 submachine guns, because those submachine guns are not really balanced for Modern Warfare 3. And, well, submachine guns in general are sort of shit in this one. Unless you really like submachine guns like I do, you'll probably just put the camos on them and then forget about them and just go use assault rifles. Which I can't really blame you for, but, you know. God, how long is it going to take to load this match? Like, we have A full lobby, come on. Come on, give me a match. This is the problem with recording live, is you just never quite know where you're gonna get. Okay, finally, we're getting to play the game. Wonderful. Yeah, it's a pretty forgettable submachine gun. I like it. Its closest comparison to other submachine guns would be like, well, I don't know. It's just forgettable. It doesn't hit hard enough to feel good at range, but it's comfortable to use recoil pattern-wise. You're gonna see that, like I said, live play. I don't like Underpass as a map, so I might be a little drunk, but you know what? We make do. Cool little pre-match opening screen as we drop in. Hardpoint, I like playing objectives game modes because I find them more fun. Of course, the AMR-9 works on pretty much every map. The maps I would keep it away from are the larger ones, though. In particular, I've always done really poorly with this thing on Quarry, but that might just be because I utterly despise Quarry, or I'm bad at the game. Could be either or. And, yeah, it does fall off over range quite hard. It's not, like, unusable at range, but it's, let's just say it's a good thing this isn't Modern Warfare 2, because the long shots with this gun would be absurdly painful. We'll do what we can. Like I said, I am very much not a underpass enjoyer. And, your laser is keeping you visible there, buddy. Never mind, I'm bad at the video game. Unfortunate. Yeah, I am not really an underpass fan, but we make it do. On general, submachine gun fits better on closer range maps. Wow, shocker. Wow, it took me way too long to realize that guy was even there. Unfortunate. Yeah, of course they're better on closer range maps because, wow, shocker, like they're good on Shipment, for example. It's a fairly solid pick on something like Rust, because what isn't a solid pick on something like Rust? Of course, if you can aim, it is better than it's not, because if you have aim, you can make any gun work. I am playing on PC, but I have used it on console here and there, and it's still pretty solid on console. It doesn't feel as good because, maybe it's just because I'm bad at joystick shooters, but the recoil feels a lot worse on console than it does on PC. And this is purely anecdotal, by the way. Like, I'm very bad at joystick shooters, but I find that on PC, the only thing you have to worry about with the AMR in terms of recoil is just the natural gun bounce. It doesn't pull hard enough in any particular direction to be properly annoying to put up with. On console, it's a different story, and I could justify working more into regular recoil attachments on console, if you feel like you need them. Obviously, you are probably better at console than I am if you were watching this video, so you can pretty much just disregard everything that I just said. Anyway, Underpass. Hardpoint. Not the AMR's best map. Not my best map. Average player, average game, live game. Yeah, you get stuff like this. Still, I will do my best to showcase the gun. You should already, now, be able to tell that it works much better in close range. Ultimately, its DPS still isn't that great. It's not, like, horrible. But the DPS still loses out to better guns in close range in terms of raw killing potential, and because it kind of sinks like a rock at long range, it's very limited in what it can do. At least it's easy to use. At least it's a relatively free camo weapon. But, it's not painful. It's no Sidewinder, that's for sure. But it's not like a particularly awesome gun either. I know I'm just repeating myself, but I really can't drive home enough just how forgettable it is. Like, I like it. It's a fine submachine gun. It'll work as a submachine gun gold, especially if they add more submachine guns allowing you to skip some in the future. But outside of just being another submachine gun gold, what does the AMR-9 really do? It has really low recoil. Cool, but if you have actually used a mouse before, and don't just like the convenience of having very little recoil, pretty much any other submachine gun will just kind of do you better with more damage output. That's the main problem with it. It's a fine submachine gun, but it doesn't really reward you once you get to the point where the gun you have in your hand matters. Obviously, if you're a better player than the other guy, you'll still win. But when you need, like, just that little bit more damage output to guarantee a kill, the AMR-9's not going to be there for you. It's just not going to be there for you. I don't know how else to word it. Like, it will let you down. Trust me, it will let you down at some point. All the submachine guns in this game are going to let you down at some point, because they all kind of are like ass. But I feel like the AMR-9 has just let me down more than anything else. I didn't like the Rival 9 either in the beta. The AMR-9 felt much better in the beta too. It probably got nerfed, if I had to guess. Or it just feels like shit now. Could be either. So, yeah, this is an undermatch. An underpass match. An undermatch. Wow, that did not go well. I'll play the whole thing through. I'll way overstay my welcome to show you this gun and talk about whatever comes to mind, because a live review, I am lazy to edit. And we'll just keep rolling. Honestly, I think the best thing they could do to improve the AMR-9 in terms of a meta gun, quote-unquote, I think it's in a fine spot where it is, but if it were going to be a little bit better, I'd like to see it either have its recoil even further buffed. Man, gunship. I'd like to see have its recoil be even better, or have it just gain a little bit more damage range. It doesn't need to be a lot, but giving it like an extra 4 or 5 meters of damage range would do a lot for it, in my opinion. Like, it would make it a significantly better weapon. Sure, it would still be low on damage output on the whole, but then at least it would work at a bit more longer ranges. And it might be... Man, I just ran straight into that one, didn't I? It might give it a little bit more of a niche as a quote-unquote ranged submachine gun. But it's always scary with things like that. As I said at the start of this video, I believe, maybe I might have forgot, I do not have the aftermarket conversion, given that I believe it was released in this week's weekly challenge set. I do not have it. From what I understand, it basically gives the gun 2 barrels, but makes your accuracy worse. I have no opinion on if it's good or not. It sounds kind of funny. I'm sure it'll be a funny attachment option. I don't know how viable it will actually be, but it looks like it might be funny, and I will have to try it myself, and maybe, if I remember to, I will post a comment under the video giving my quick opinion on it. But that's a big maybe. That's assuming I remember, because that's a big ask. I forgot. Just like how I forgot how to actually play the game. I have not doing well. But I'm just going to blame Underpass. I did never play the original Modern Warfare 2, so this is my first experience with pretty much all these maps. Yeah, I don't like Underpass. The only maps that would have been worse for this gun are Quarry, because fuck Quarry, and Rundown, because fuck Rundown. I don't think I need to explain further. So, if you're unaware, by the way, because I used it there, although I didn't actually make use of the kill, the DDoS does give you XP whenever a player gets EMP'd by it, which makes it an actually surprisingly effective intel tool. It's not going to replace a UAV or an advanced UAV, hell no. But you can DDoS people around corners, and if you get that XP tick, you know they're there. Handy little intel tool. If you know what you're doing, it can get you kills from here or there, or you can just spam the thing on shipment and just print XP. It's really up to you. It also has a really, really fast field recharge time, because I think there's a calling card for using a certain amount of field equipments. So, if you need to get that calling card on DDoS, this isn't even about the AMR-9 video anymore. This is just me having a bad game on Underpass. To be fair, every game on Underpass is a bad game on Underpass, but I digress. What other recommendations can I make for the AMR-9? If you take the buffer tube and you just run, like, everything for aim down sight speed, you can get the thing down to, like, a 90-second, or not a 90-second, a 90-millisecond sprint to fire and, like, 100 millisecond ADS, which is really funny, because you basically just click and the thing immediately aim down sights. I think it might be the fastest, like, handling submachine gun in the game, so it has that role. And the recoil pattern still isn't that bad when you do it, it's just a lot bouncier, especially on the irons. It's kind of funny, but you do give up some range for that, and while it's funny, for me, I actually found it kind of difficult, because it's... If you're not ready to have a gun go to aim on you that fast, you do kind of get thrown off, especially if your sensitivity between hipfire and aim are different, because you'll be transferring between 2 different sensitivities very, very quickly. Of course, that is mostly just a skill issue on my part, but take it that what you will. I thought this match was going on way longer than I thought it would. I guess that's kind of what I get for queuing domination and on hardpoint. But alas, hey, at least you're getting a good long-term experience with this gun. Oh, this video is going to be like 17 minutes long, I just realized. Or maybe it's just because I'm playing Underpass, and Underpass matches feel like they take fucking forever. How does anyone like this map? If you like Underpass, please drop a message in the comments. I'm not farming interaction bait, I promise. I just want to know who actually likes this dog-ass map. Aw, man. Okay, well, at least I died anyway. At least I didn't get some text. I sunk a good, like, 6 shots at that guy, though, and he didn't die. The AMR-9 has no range. It has no range. Even if you're getting headshots at range, it still has no range. It's not bad, but honestly, within its max damage range, it just doesn't really have any output. You could run the long barrel to help alleviate that problem, but then you're giving up some handling, and if you're as much of a gremlin for handling like I am, you won't like that very much. Still, it's an alright gun. I don't really know what to talk about, I'm sure you can tell. Like, it's an alright gun. It's kind of hard to talk about this thing for more than, like, 5 minutes because, wow, it's a Call of Duty submachine gun. And it's not very good. Like, I don't really know what more you can say on that. Yeah, it's an alright gun. It sure is a lot better on Rust, or Shipment, or Scrapyard. Or, hell, fuck, I think I'd rather even run it on Afghan. Like, it's... As long as you have relatively short lanes to work with, you can make it work. But if you don't have relatively short lanes to work with, or you have, like, big crossing sections like you do on Underpass, yeah, it kind of suffers. Wow, I'm actually surprised. Oh, I got both pens. Okay, that makes sense. That does make a lot of sense. Other advice for the camo challenges, because I don't know what else to talk about. Easiest way to do the tack one is to just simply chuck stun grenades around a corner whenever you need to. On Shipment, of course, it's because it's such a small map, you can basically just toss stuns and get hits, and then just kill. Finally, we lose the game. That would be my advice for getting it. Other than that, smaller maps in general, like Meat, Rust, Scrapyard even. Anything with a small map where you can just chuck a lot of tacks on works. Out of all the tacticals, stun grenades seem to be the most reliable. Flashbangs are really hit or miss. Shock sticks are really weird because I think the enemy still has to be within the shock stick circle to actually be credited for it. It's weird. The submachine gun camo challenges in the game are weird. They're not as bad as Modern Warfare 2's, but like, they're not that good either. So, the AMR-9. Wow, that was a long time talking about a gun that really does not matter. You can get camos with it. Once you get camos with it, you will simply never use it again.